This video focuses on one area of organization in writing, transitions that create a logical link between ideas by providing an explicit signpost. No doubt you've heard about this topic before. My goal here is to get you to think about transitions' impact in your own workplace writing. I'll explain 5 types of relations that are conveyed by transitions. We'll consider the organization of an executive summary for a report written by a planning consultant hired by a U.S. city. They wanted to determine the future fees they should charge for land development. The audience for this report is the group of leaders in city government. Before we go further, we should get clear about the context of the message. The consultant's primary purpose in this case is directive. The writers of the planning consultant want their audience to act on the recommendations they make in their report. The audience of city leaders is not ready to accept the team's message and has relatively low expertise, so they'll rely on informative prose or graphics. Only a few of the readers are experts on planning, and even those few will be slightly skeptical or sensitive to the writer's recommendations. After all, it's the obligation of the readers to safeguard the interests of the city and its residents. Plus, each of the readers may also have his or her own ideas about what's best. Although we lack information about any existing writer-audience relationships, we can guess that the consulting company's power is lower than the client readers. Some would say the client always has greater power. As I've said before, I wouldn't argue. The first type of relation that can be shown by transitions is cause and effect. Look at the passage from the executive summary of the planning consultant's report. What's the relation between the ideas expressed in these 2 sentences? The relation is supposed to be cause, expressed in the first sentence, and effect, expressed in the second. The writer could make that message more effective and efficient by inserting a transition like thus. The use of transitions improves effectiveness because the reader is much less likely to be confused about the meaning intended by the writer when the meaning is stated explicitly by a transition. In addition, the use of transitions improves efficiency because the reader does not need to think as long about the writer's logic in order to get the meaning. The second type of relation that can be shown by transitions is illustrating. Look at another passage from the executive summary. What's the relation between the ideas here? The second sentence illustrates the meaning of the first. This would be more clear with a transition like, for instance. The third type of relation that can be shown by transitions is comparison. Look at yet another passage. Determine what the relation between the ideas is that's expressed in the 2 sentences. In this case, the second sentence provides similar information to the first. This would be clearer with a transition like similarly, which makes the comparison logic explicit. The fourth type of relation that can be shown by transitions is contrast. Look at another passage and determine the relation between the ideas expressed in the 2 sentences. In this case, the second sentence provides dissimilar information to the first. This would be clearer with a transition like in contrast. The fifth type of relation that can be shown by transitions is addition. Look at another passage, determine what the relation is between the 2 sentences. In this case, the second sentence adds information to the first. If you think about this for more than a few seconds, you'll realize this is the default relationship between consecutive sentences. Of course, the following sentence should add to the previous one. The use of in addition makes it clear there's no other relation between the 2 sentences. In that sense, additive transitions are useful to readers. I'm going to spend just a few minutes explaining the 3 grammatical classes of transitions that can be used to signify relations that we've been discussing. While it isn't necessary for an effective writer to know the class, it is important to know that there are 3 ways to incorporate transitions based on those 3 distinct classes. Let's consider how the 3 classes of transitions might be used to signify the cause-effect relation. The first possibility is like the one I presented earlier. Both conjunctive adverbs thus and therefore signal causality. Conjunctive adverbs are somewhat flexible in terms of where they can be placed. Their use always maintains the 2 sentences as distinct or independent clauses. In the first black box, therefore appears at the beginning of the sentence. In the second black box, it appears after the subject position. And note that it is surrounded by commas. The second possibility is using a coordinating conjunction like so between the two independent clauses. Here's an example. This results in combining the two individual sentences into one. Let me note that there's a comma missing before the so in my example slide. It's a coordinating conjunction separating two independent clauses. That means there needs to be a comma. The third class of transitions is using a subordinating conjunction like because to create a subordinate clause. This results in combining the two individual sentences into one. But unlike coordinating conjunctions, subordinating ones create a clause that's subordinate to a main clause. Note there's a comma signaling the end of the subordinate clause headed by because. At this point, you may be thinking that transitions don't seem that important. I mean, they're really small. Readers can figure out the relation between ideas in a message on their own. I want you to think about the importance of road signs at intersections. They're not there for the people who drive that route every day. They're installed to help drivers find their way when they're in new territory. You may think the direction of your message is obvious. You don't need a signal. But remember that you've traveled that terrain several times before while thinking about and drafting your message. All readers, even those who are persuaded by the peripheral route, are making the trip for the first time. Those who are persuaded by the central route definitely need and want logical connections. By now you know my position is that workplace readers, like the city government officials, may be able but unwilling to figure out such relations. When the planning consultant uses transitions, even readers who have limited motivation to read the document get the intended message with less effort. Good organization ensures both effectiveness and efficiency.